Hello, everyone out there in podcast world, cyber world. This is the Transform You Live show with your host, of course, Marcus Hart. And today we got a very amazing guest who's has a awesome stories to share with you guys today. Who's been doing some incredible work, has a huge body of work. She's going to tell you all about that. I got Lauren with me, Lauren Robbins, who's a psychic medium. She's been seen on the List TV show, Fox, CBS, and NBC News, and much, much more. So, how's it going today, Lauren?
It's going great, Marcus. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Outstanding. So, do you prefer Lauren, or would you like me to call you Miss Robbins today, or how would you be
Oh
referred to
my
today?
God, I don't want to be old. Call me Lauren. Call
Lauren?
me
Okay.
Lauren. Call me whatever you want as long as it's nice.
Nice, nice, nice. So I'll call you Nice Lawrence. So like I gave a quick little spill, nothing too detailed, because I like to hear directly from the horse's mouth, as they like to say down south and maybe many other places. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I've had the gift since I was 2 years old. So I didn't really look for this gift at all.
Right.
And I pretty much suppressed it for most of my life. I'm considered the double visioned medium because I have permanent double vision, and that's basically how my
Mm-hmm.
gift began. I was really, really sick as a child at the age of like 1.5, 2 with severe bronchitis that I coughed so much that it basically turned my left eye in. And
Mm-hmm.
I had to wear a patch back in the day on my right eye to strengthen the muscle in my left eye. But when my brain never developed properly from that point on, and I had permanent double vision, and I still do. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, I see two of you right now. You're very handsome, by the way.
Thank you.
And I see two of you, and you're very sweet too. I love your energy. I see two of you right now, and I always tease people. I'm like, when I have a glass of wine, I see one. But
It's always the
I
reverse.
don't encourage
It's always
thinking,
around.
especially if you're reading, but
Yeah.
yeah, I see one. So, but I've had it my entire life. So, being brought up, raised, and, I was, my childhood, I was completely bullied, for my double vision and my lazy eye. And, so I didn't really want to talk about my gifts too much. The only people that really knew about them were my parents and my sisters. And I'd always say there's people in my room, and I was seeing energy forming like at night, swirling energy. I actually saw orbs when I was very little. That might be another topic for another show, but
Right.
and I saw them forming. So I'd say the first few gifts that I had as a psychic and a medium was to see the spiritual world with forming energy into figures, and also feeling them through clear sentience and hearing them, and I saw them as well. So it
Mm-hmm.
was very profound for me at a very, very young age, and it wasn't something that my family really believed in. They knew it was happening, but my mom would say, it's your imagination, go back to bed, which is honestly the worst thing that you can do to your children. So I always encourage parents, like if they say, oh, my child is having this, or they're seeing a loved one, or they're getting some kind of experience, don't shut them down.
Right.
Instead say, what are you seeing? Because it can either be good things like loved ones in spirit, or maybe the angelic realm. They all come to us in different ways, or it could be actual real ghosts, because we're very open as young children.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
And just to kind of go back to that, and I can definitely relate to some of that. But what tends to happen though, like as we grow a little bit older, we kind of find ourselves not being able to escape this calling, this pull towards this energy to do what we was put on earth here to do. So at what age did you like kind of say like, okay, let's go ahead and just let's check this out a little bit more. And was there any mentors that kind of maybe were kind of put in your path, or did anything else come up for you?
Well, it was funny because honestly, in high school, like it was my I got my confidence back because I was always
Right.
insecure about my eyes and everything. And then I had my eye surgery at the age of 12, my first one to corrective surgery. And I just was knowing things all along, but I was more like interested at the time to be like popular and kind of like own my stuff because I was just so insecure. And all of a sudden now I was like in
Mm-hmm.
modeling school, and I ended up being like this ugly duckling turning into like kind of a cute girl with straight eyes. So I was concentrated on boys, but I can tell you honestly, in high school, I knew like by the time I graduated, I was both a psychic and a medium, which are two very different things.
Yeah.
And people that bundle that together, like myself, means like the psychic, I can see and I know what's going on in the physical world with people. Like for yourself, like I don't want to know anything when somebody comes and sees me or talks to me over the phone. I do remote sessions also.
Mm-hmm.
I just have them sit down and I start reading them. This is what's going on with your life. This is what's happening now. And where it's mediumship, if they want that, I go and see who's connected to them on the other side. But I was already receiving messages at that young age. I was receiving them all along. I just was like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to pay attention to this, but it would follow me. It was always there. And it was just so hard. I had to kind of get my mind off of those things and like concentrate on school and getting into college. So I did really know, like by the time I graduated, like the age of 16, 17 years old, high school, that I definitely had this going on. It was happening all the time. I had precognitive visions, like my grandfather was going to die and have a heart attack,
Right.
mowing the lawn, and then it happened. I knew what was going on with high school friends, like who they were going to be with, who they weren't, who was going to cheat on whom, and they always happened. So I kind of started testing myself, and like, sure enough, it happened. And then, so basically I fast forward, I went to college, and then I was still like, just trying to be normal. I just wanted to be normal. Like this was not easily accepted. It still isn't now. It's really, really tough.
And that's
I ended
very
up,
strange.
Going to college, and then everything still kept, I mean, I could talk for hours. Everything kept happening everywhere I lived. I was drawn to like places that had haunted locations where I lived. And, deceased people would come to me for help because they were kind of stuck, and I had to help, cross them over. And then I was just getting validations left and right. But it wasn't really until, I go on forever, but it wasn't really until my 40s where I was pushed so strongly, prior to my dad's passing. I got a message from his mother, whom I never met. She was like 2 years, my dad was 2 when she passed. And she said, come to me, come to me. Your father's going to pass. I'm like, come to you where? I didn't know where she was buried. And I was led to where she was buried through another family member, and found her grave. And she's like, he's going to pass before September. And sure enough, he passed August 9th that year. And she was trying to reconnect to him on the other side. And I'm like, oh my God, this is really happening. So there's a lot more, but I'll leave that to your questions if you ask me. But boy, oh boy, did things start to come out, and where things became validated. So I really, to answer your question, never really trained with anybody. And I honestly say that people that are gifted really don't need to be trained.
Right.
You have it.
Exactly.
We can train and we can develop it. Everybody has an ability, but some people have that higher access to the divine. Usually they've had like a near-death experience, and apparently I had a near-death experience at 2 when I couldn't breathe. And it just does something with heightening your vibration, Marcus. And so, when you have that happen to you, it just kind of puts you in a higher state. I'm not saying that people can't develop this, but normally people that are very gifted, they already have it. And I did write a book on it called Who Are You? Are you a psychic, medium, or other spiritual worker? Like how I channel information, because people go around like me their entire life going, am I crazy? Is this really happening? Am I really, talking to angels, or am I talking to deceased loved ones? Or am I going to talk to, or am I getting a psychic message? Am I nuts? Or is this really happening? So I really wrote this book. It's very thin. It's on Amazon, called Who Are You? I wrote it really because I felt like people need to know if they are gifted or not before they take training, or just to really embrace themselves and say, all right, I'm not nuts. So like all those things I was experiencing aren't really happening. So it kind of answers the question for them.
That's very compelling, and I really appreciate you just laying it all out for us. And just to switch gears slightly a little bit, because you really brought up something that's really important for people who are listening right now, and maybe thinking the same thing that like I'm thinking, like, why is this not widely accepted, as so many things now today are being accepted? Like you still getting a lot of pushback, and I kind of know the answer to that. It has a lot to do with religion. It has a lot to do with like, the way mainstream media depicts it, and people are very, appreciative. People who like, are comfortable with it, are very appreciative of people like yourself who are brave enough to, come to the forefront now to say, okay, it is what it is. And, I am helping people. So how do you balance that on a day-to-day basis? And, do you have any words of encouragement for people who may still be struggling with like, okay, is this evil practice? What is this?
So I would say, honestly, my words of encouragement are, if you've already had it, I do believe, Marcus, that this is a God-given gift. I really struggled with that my entire life. Even with my 20s, 30s, I was very intrigued by it. I kept being pushed to help people. And I opened up, I became a Reiki master teacher, an herbalist first, then a Reiki master teacher, because I really wanted to help people going through divorce. I went through a really bad traumatic divorce and took my son with me. And I was just like, I got to help people, divorce, etc., loss, trauma. And I knew that if I did hands-on healing, which is a Japanese healing art, that I would probably be able to get more information for them. In a nutshell, this woman that was on the bottom floor of the building, she was Christian, and every time I walked by, she's like, "Oh, the witch is in, the witch is in," and it was really hard because I am Catholic. Right. I was raised Catholic. I still believe in God. I actually talk to God, and he was probably one of the first people I talked to when I was 8 years old in church. I'd say, "Why do I have these problems with my eyes? Why is it so hard?" And I'd hear back, because you'll see, you have to help people, you'll see. And I never ever thought I'd end up doing this. And it wasn't really until I started having hands-on healing work with my practice, I really believe it led me to where I am now in helping people. I saved a lot of people. I had people that found me by synchronicity. They found my sign or something, and they'd come to me and they were like suicidal or had drug addictions, or they were pregnant, and I picked it up and said, I do a hands-on healing for them and say, don't abort your child. They say, how do you know that? I said, because God's telling me you have a child that you're going to abort. Don't abort this child. And I know one of the listeners, there'll be somebody listening to this that is one of my clients that's been like for decades with me, because it was her child. And I said, that child is going to save you and transform your life. And she was a drug addict. And she ended up having this child, and that child did transform her life. She got off of drugs. She ended up having more children, marries, has a normal life. And, and then there were other people that came to me that were like suicidal, or they were beaten, or they were abused, and they just found me. So I finally, before my niece passed away, I knew she was going to pass. I was trying to prevent her from passing, but she didn't listen to me. And I saw this room number 111 when I was talking to her. I said, that's an angel number. Mm-hmm. And God is trying to say, you have a chance to transform your life, just don't go anywhere for, 3 months after you get out of rehab or whatever. And she's like, okay, well, she went to rehab and her room number was 111. Mm. Okay. And then when she got out, I said, please just don't go anywhere till after June. Just don't. I have this feeling. Don't. I see things. Just don't go. She went out with friends and she ended up passing away. It was June 2nd. And if she had waited the end of the month, I really feel like she would have still been here. So I went to our family church, where I was, went to Catholic Mass every Sunday with my parents. And I spoke to the priest and I said, listen, I knew my niece was going to pass away. And I also had, I have all these people coming to me. And I said, I've had this since I was 2. I didn't ask for it. I didn't train for it. I didn't want it. I didn't ask for it. But you need to tell me, am I going to be okay? Am I doing the right thing passing along these messages to people that come to me for healing? Because I'm starting to read them now. I'm getting psychic messages and medium messages, and they're all healing and they're all beautiful. And his answer to me was, this was 2012, and when I really came out publicly with it, he said, Lauren, I can't say everybody works for God. He said, but you do. He said, you're healing people. You're helping people. You're getting them off of drugs. You're helping them not commit suicide. You're definitely, passing along God's message. And so from that point on, honestly, Marcus, that's when I was like, boom, if I'm going to do this, I've got to be tested and endorsed. I've got to show my stuff. I got to know, everything I do is because I really care about people, and it's not for profit. So I never do large events where I'm going to make millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. I won't do it. I do one-on-ones and small groups, but So I ended up going to some professional sites, and actually one contacted me first, and it kind of got me on a roll. They wanted me to be tested for them as a
Yeah.
professional medium. So I went through testing stages with them. Two people I've never met before. Didn't know, only knew their first name, read them, psychic and medium. Then all of a sudden I did this for a scientist for Voice Across the Veil as an afterlife research medium. Did that, passed that, and I've been with them 8 years.
Mm.
Then I did it for Best American Psychics, same thing. And then casting directions and producers. So 8 times, over 8 times for accuracy, because I can't go out there and charge people things, and they need help. And there are, I hate to say, a lot of people out there that just are learning, are
Right.
going to take advantage of them and say, oh, you give me $500 more, I'm going to get rid of this, I'll get rid of that. Those are scam artists. But for me, I'm like, if I'm going to do this, there's going to be a lot of criticism. There's going to be a lot of skepticism. There's going to be people that put me down. They're going to say I work for the devil. I need to know, number one, that the priest said it was okay. And number
Yeah.
two, that I am actually not proving my gifts to everybody, but also to myself. I really can do this. And so I went through all of that because it was essential for me, honestly, to say, I'm doing this. And everybody can honestly say that I've worked with over the course of, it's going to be 14 years next month that I open my practice, have said, you have healed me. You have saved me. Like they know. And I don't like to own that because that's boasting, but
Right.
I know that I did my thing, and I know I did it the right way for myself. So I can honestly say, if people are gifted, you need to embrace that. You need to look into it if you want to. There's two things you can do with it. One, either do it for yourself to help yourself spiritually grow. So you can listen and trust your intuition that you get for yourself with psychic messages. Oh, this is going to happen. Maybe I can change the course of that if I tell that person, if it's appropriate. Do you ever tell people they're going to die? No, you don't. If you can kind of deter that a little bit to help them a little bit to maybe change the course of their path, that's great. For mediumship, the same thing too. Is like, a lot of people are going to say you're working for the devil. I don't believe that. If you're working for the devil, you're going to get negative messages. You're going to get things that are telling you to do bad things. There is a part in the Bible that talks about people like me. I wish I could quote it, but they talk about people that are like messengers for God.
Right.
And I know I am, because I've had the most beautiful experiences with people that, and I've told God every day, I'm like, if I'm not supposed to do that, shut it down, take it away from me. And it just gets stronger and stronger. So I just encourage people to open themselves up and either do it for themselves, or if you really feel that need to serve other people and help them, develop your gift. And I do teach as well. I'm a spiritual teacher, and I'm going to be starting like a mentorship program, but I teach everything with prayer, because I think that's very important to incorporate prayer. Yeah.
That's very
Very long answer, but
no, that's very
there's so
beautiful.
much, like I could talk to you literally for hours, but I'm so excited to be here. So just trying to get it all in.
I love it. That's very beautiful, Lauren, and it's so appreciated, and it's really refreshing too, that you really embrace that spiritual aspect of it, and you look beyond just the natural, because so many. And I'm not here to criticize any other psychics or and what they doing either, but it seems like it's so much more about the material and what you can get in this material world, when, like you said, if you're not truly being a messenger of God, then you are kind of falling short of the mark. And what I appreciate so much about you, it seems like a lot of the clients that you encounter are like, it appears to be like divine timing. So on that note, has there been anybody that you ever came across that, you might have got a message like, hey, maybe it's not the time to work with that person, or, maybe there's nothing coming up?
You mean like if somebody comes to see me or talk to me that nothing comes up?
Right.
It's honestly, I've been, like I said, in business since 2007, 14 years going on next month. There's only, I'd say, probably a handful of times. And that's usually because either that person is not receptive, I can feel that they're blocked, closed down, or they're very skeptical. And because when I have to read somebody, whether it's psychic or mediumship, I have to go through them. I have to connect to their spirit, for like their higher self, to tell me their higher self is their spirit and soul. And they give me that gives me the information about what's going on with their life, or connect through them to see who's there for them on the other side from a loved one. If they're closed down, I feel that block right away.
Yeah.
If they're skeptical, I really feel that block too. And then sometimes people will come in, they purposely try to mess me up, like, or on the phone, like they're like, I think maybe they got like, I got a competitor or something that has them come to me or something to screw me all up so they can say I did a terrible job, excuse my French. But, and I feel it. And what I do is I really work really hard with them, but then I'll just say, I'm sorry, like I can't read you and I'm not going to charge you the rest of the session or whatever. I try to make it right by them, but I mean, there are times that's happened, but it's very rare. But I can, like, if I'm doing a group or a crowd of like 20 or 50 people, I always pick up right away who in that room is going to be like trying to make me look bad or say, no, like, because they want to flub you up. And I'll tell you, being a psychic and medium is like the hardest job you're going to ever have. Number one, you got the skeptics, you feel them out. Number two, like we're channeling stuff, like we're receiving stuff. That's really hard to do. And like for me, I can't work every night. I gotta work every other night because I'll be exhausted. It takes so much out of me to receive their pain, their messages, what they want to say. And I'm, we receive all of this, and it actually really affects us, most of us. So,
That's incredible. So we were talking on.
You've been always gifted, though. You've been always gifted.
Yeah, we was talking
and
about.
And I know you said something, but I'm not gonna like own that. But like I'm gonna say something about 5. Okay. So I was gonna say like something about 5. Since you were 5, what happened at 5? Because I was gonna say like you've been like something snapped and changed for you at the age of 5. Do you know what it is? And you don't have to say anything if it doesn't make any sense, but it shifted for you. It
does. Like at 5, is where I kind of had this weird it was kind of like a sexual abuse, I don't know.
Sorry, that's private.
No, it's fine. Like most of what I talk about on this show, like most of the audience knows. But it was a strange situation with another kid in kindergarten, where where like I really feel like no kid should have been introduced to that. Where the girl, I had several instances, during that age where where it would be girls, even older women, just sexualize me, and it was a very crazy time at the age of 5, and and I haven't really talked about this. This is really crazy.
I know you didn't ask me to read you, but no,
and we were talking about possibly you reading me too. So this is a good segue.
But I didn't mean to just kind of like just throw it in. But all of a sudden, like I'm connected to you. You really do have a very beautiful energy, and you're pure, and that's what I love about you. I can read people like that, and I can tell who's legit and who's really caring and who's not, and it's all about them. Like this is not all about you. You're not doing this just because it's all about you. I mean, yes, it's important to put yourself out there, but like, it's just like me. I really could be charging twice as much, and I really should, for like all my background and my credentials and all those things. I can't do it. I just can't. Like, I can't do it. And like, so what I'm trying to say is like, I didn't mean to, but I was like looking at him going, he's so sweet. And all of a sudden I'm hearing 5, like something happened to him at 5. And I can tell you with abuse or like, near-death experiences, abuse, like one of the characteristics of people that are very gifted or, have like a little higher vibration than others, is that usually they've been abused, or they had a near-death experience, but abuse does trigger something spiritually with you. Like it's almost like you've got to forget, you can go into another place where you need to, where it's safe. When you have to put that all away and shut that door. But you've always been able to go back and forth between spiritual worlds very easily for yourself. I would not be surprised if you hadn't seen ghosts since you were little. And you've had paranormal experiences where things have approached you. Does that make sense?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And like you actually can see them. You see them. I'm hearing you see them. Does that make sense?
I haven't seen them lately, but I can still hear I dream, and then people who are dead come to me.
Okay,
Um,
so when you see,
yeah,
but you when you were little, did you see
I
ghosts?
was seeing them when I was little, but
Okay,
I
because I
haven't
was
been able
hearing
to
like
see
when you
them.
were little, you were seeing them, and what
Yeah.
happens is what happens with our vision when we're young is that when we get older, sometimes that vision that we see in front of us, like a ghostly figure, would turns more within the mind's eye. So it doesn't surprise me that you might see them within your mind's eye now. That's why I close my eyes a lot when I'm reading, because I want to really be able to clearly see. So you're seeing them within your mind, loved ones and ghosts, correct?
Yes.
Okay, because I was going to say you're very, very open spiritually. I would not be surprised if you're not a sensitive. So a sensitive is like an empath, but it deals with the spiritual world. Like, so empath is physical world where we feel other people's energy and pain and stuff. You're also an empath.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hmm.
And you're also a sensitive. So a sensitive goes the additional layer where you get like, think about S for sensitive. That's like the spiritual world. We can feel them approaching us. We can feel
Yeah.
them when they're in the room. It's a lot of fun to be like in antique stores and stuff like that, because they're all over the place. They're on the energy. They're on the energy of
Yeah.
the whatever antiques and stuff like that. But you're a sensitive, so you do. Ghosts would be attracted to you because you're very loving and kind, but they probably need your help to assist them on the other side. But when you can see ghosts, you can typically see loved ones too. And if you are seeing them in dreams, it's not a dream; it's actually a visitation.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just
So,
recently had that, so
and
but
that was within the last
yeah.
three. Was that the last 3 days? The last 3 weeks? Something I'm
Mm-hmm.
hearing
Last three
last three.
days. Last three
Yep.
days.
And
That's
was
right.
that a motherly figure? I'm hearing like it was a motherly
Yeah.
figure that came through.
Yeah.
No, but I'm hearing mother's mother step up. Was that like
Mm-hmm.
your grandmother came through or your
Yeah.
mom?
Yes. My
Okay,
grandmother.
so so I'm like, she's saying like what they do is they tell me stuff like only you're gonna know. They're gonna say like who they are. They're gonna say, if you're seeing them or hearing them. But she's come to you many times.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
And then she's also given me a lot of pressure in my heart and chest, like I can't breathe.
Yeah.
So what was going on with the chest area too? Like, I almost feel like it was two things though. Was it lung and cardiac? Because I'm getting chest pains going like this, but it
Cardiac.
also feels like somebody's sitting on me. So, and she's saying history. Was there history like of heart issues with her or like other heart
Heart
attacks or
attack.
something?
She had a heart
Okay. So
attack.
she's telling me like this happened to her before.
Mm.
Also, like she had a history of this. So I clearly see her. Was there something with a space between her teeth or something with her teeth? Because she's trying to smile, but looks like there's something with the teeth in the front. If that
Uh,
doesn't make sense, you can say no, but something with
they
the teeth.
she had that was the last image I seen of her, the tube, the breathing tube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was it like between her teeth or something? Because I'm getting like something between her teeth. And I didn't know if that would make any sense. Oh, okay.
Other than that, just she chewed tobacco. So
Okay. Okay. No, I didn't. That's funny. And there's something about one, two, three. Are you like one of three children?
my mom and then my sister and me. That's the children that she looked over.
Okay, but are you one of three children?
No, well, not on my mom's side. It's just
Okay,
me
so
and me and my sister on my mom's side.
okay, but was there any children that had passed away from miscarriages that you were aware of from your mom?
Not that I'm aware of. If
Okay, you
if it
might want to ask
happened,
your mom and let me know
might
if I
happen.
talk to you later because she's going, you're one of three. You're one of three. And that
If
usually
that
means
happened,
like if
yeah.
there's a miscarriage or something that happened,
Hmm.
they count as three because God,
Yeah,
they create a soul. So you'll have to ask your parents and let me know later.
that's interesting. I'll be happy to find that out. So yeah, so maybe something happened that
Yep.
I never know.
I'm gonna just pop over real quick I know we don't have a lot of time, but like psychic stuff too. Like you're with somebody right now,
Mhm.
and you have to like I don't know if I see like this like so if you're not married, you need to marry this person.
Okay,
Does this make sense?
that makes sense. It's tough
And
though.
then I'm like nothing like putting pressure on you, Marcus.
Yeah,
But I'm hearing something about 7. Have you been together 7 months or since July or something with 7?
I think it's been about 7 months since we've been back together.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about. 7
Mm,
months. And I know that was like a lot of back and forth. You already just said back together, but I'm hearing there was like, were there 2 or 3 splits beforehand?
3 sounds about right. I think it's about 3. Yeah, it sounds about 3. I think about 3.
Okay. And I'm hearing like you've got to let some stuff go to let that work. You got to let it go. You
Yeah,
have to let it go.
yeah,
She's trying, but you have to let it go.
yes.
Okay, does that make sense?
That makes sense.
All right. So I'm hearing like I don't want to get into personal stuff because
Okay.
this is like, about you, and I don't want to get, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And I know that can be very vague, but I don't want to like. I'm hearing like, don't talk about that on air. So I'm hearing like, let it go, trust it, because trust this journey, because this is a really good person for you, and she really does love you. I'm getting female, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Because I got a female energy. So, but I'm hearing like, she really loves you. You
Okay.
have to let it go. Like she's making a lot of change for you. And I do feel like there's a child somewhere, or maybe there's a child coming. Is there a child that you both had together, or was there something with a history of a child?
Yeah, we got children together.
Okay. Okay. So you have children together?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So, because I'm like, because there was something definitely there with a child. I didn't get children, but I did heard child. So I'll take that. That's close enough. But I would say like within the next year or so, like if you are not married yet or whatever, I don't know if you were married, but I'm hearing like marriage over and over again. So you might want to think about doing that. This is a person that's going to be good for you. And and I feel like there's something about 4 also. Were you together for 4 years, or have you known each other for 4 years? Something about 4.
No, we haven't known each other for 4 years. It's been longer than that. I don't know the 4. I don't know the 4.
What is 4 though? It's really has to do with your relationships. Did something happen like 4 years ago that really caused a split, or caused a split?
4. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We were going to get married for 4 years ago. That would have been 4 years ago.
That would have been like 2017.
Right. Yeah. That was the dramatic split. That's when we had the dramatic split.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
That
that's
was
what I'm
our
hearing.
last
So like
dramatic split.
2000, 4 years ago, like four, and like what happens is your higher self will like repeat things that you need to know,
Right.
so you can go back. And it's really hard, like when people are receiving information, because they're like, oh my God, I gotta like go back and count, and so that was like the game changer right there, And then there was like a 1 or 2 year split or something, but more than that, probably. Obviously, you said you just got back together again, but there's something. I don't know if there was another get back together in between that, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing like the 4 years, like, yeah. So you got to trust this journey and where it leads you. And since you're so intuitive, trust with your gut too, because it's never going to lead you the wrong way. Like you are so empathic that you're going to know in your stomach when something's wrong, and go by that. Don't go by your head, go by your gut. Your gut is the one that talks to you when it comes to intuition, not your mind.
Okay.
Any other questions about what I told you?
No, that's amazing. So, I'm always amazed, and I'm always, very, very appreciative when I get, very good readings. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I want to tell you too quick, like everybody's, your grandmother, is there an S in her name? I'm getting like an S, or is she associated with an S? But she's saying something about an S. I don't know what she's talking about, but well, I know you're Marcus, but she's saying something about an S. But think about that. But I want you to know she is. I always get so upset when mediums are like, oh, they turned into an angel. People don't turn into angels unless they were already like an earth angel, which is another spiritual type. But I will tell you, she does watch over you. She's one of your not guardians, but she is a spirit, like a guide. So what they can do is when people pass away, sometimes they can ask God if they can be assigned as a guide for you to help you like on your path and your journey and everything you need to go through in life. So they can kind of direct you. So don't be afraid to talk to her and ask her for help, but always make sure you protect yourself and just say, God protect me when I talk to my grandmother, and then say her first and last name. So you're talking to her and not anything else. So this is the stuff like I teach when I teach mediumship or development, is like how to properly ask, because I get so upset when instructors or whatever, and again, I don't want just anybody, but they just like, oh, just connect to somebody. You don't know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
Is it a demon? Is it really a loved one? This is where like people are afraid of the stigma of mediumship.
Right.
No.
Well, that's definitely great advice, and that's the first anyone gave that insight. I think that's very important, and that's probably why I always kind of shied away from not talking to anyone that have like, they're not physically here anymore. So, um, not here in the flesh, at least, they're here physically, but they're not here in the flesh. So thank you so much for that. That's great value to take along. With that being said, there is a way to get in touch with you. Check out your website, check out your book. Definitely tell us about that real quickly. And I know we can go back and check out that one episode that you appeared on the list. That's great too. So maybe give us some insight on that before we kind of part ways a little bit.
Okay, sure. So my book is on Amazon. It's also can be found on my website, which I'll tell you in a second. It's called Who Are You? Are You a Psychic Medium or the Spiritual Worker? It's a real short read. It's like I call it my class in the book because it's really like a teaching book for my students or other people that are trying to discover if they're gifted or not, and actually has some examples in there to follow. So if you're gifted, they're going to be easy for you to follow. So kind of like aha moments, that can be found on my website and also Amazon. Again, it's called Who Are You? Are You a Psychic Medium or the Spiritual Worker? And it kind of like I talk about like how I receive information and what forms I'm receiving this information from, which a lot of people don't know. So I feel like it's valuable. And then my segment on the List TV show was about spiritual healer types. I did get filmed with them earlier about mediumship, but then COVID came back and they're afraid to put it out because all the number of people passing away from COVID. Mm-hmm. So that didn't air, but the one that did air was spiritual healer types, where I talk about earth angels. This would be great for you, Marcus. Okay. Empaths, sensitives, and healers. And how you can spot one, and if you are one, because that's another thing those are areas that I cover as well. And then I do have a documentary that I just filmed for a murder case down in Provincetown. So that documentary should come out at the end of the summer. They're still working on a title, but it was for the Lady of the Dunes. So if anybody is interested in the murder case, I was the lead medium for that. There were 3 mediums, but she led me where she was murdered, which was not where she was found. So there was a lot of footage they're editing now for that. But if anybody wants to check out what's going on or follow me, you can go to my website, mediumlaurenrobbins.com. You can also check out my social media pages on Facebook, mediumlaurenrobbins.com. Same thing for Twitter, or actually it's Robbins Medium on Twitter. Instagram is Medium Lauren Robbins. And you can find out information and links, and you can follow me and see what's going on. And sometimes I do like Facebook Lives and do like quick things where I throw out something to kind of give back to people following me, like maybe some advice or something real quick on the fly. So I try to help people when I can outside of like my scheduled appointments, because I believe I've been very blessed that I've been in business for so long, and even through COVID that it was meant to be that I'm still here. So I'm very grateful.
Well, I love it, and we sending lots of love and light to you, and we hope to have you back again and continue more conversations with you. So just truly a blessing and gift today to have you. What a divine appointment today with you. So ladies and gentlemen, you got the plugs, you got the links, so we're going to put that right in the episode description for you. If you are watching this back right now or listening to it as well, you want to grab those up, share it with someone someone you don't know. Just reach over to them and say, hey, you might want to check this out. You're going to enjoy it, you're going to love it, and all that good stuff. So I'm Marcus Hart. I'm with Lauren Robbins. So until next time, many blessings, peace, and lots of love.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.